Looks like we are. I know it's it's always ish with me. No thanks, Siri. Yeah, it'll never be right on the money usually. If I aim for a particular time, you can bank on me not being there in time generally. I get better at it. Hello everyone, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love. If you are here from Sassy C or Sheila, I'm ever so glad that you got my invitation. I Since I came out of my self-imposed quiet time, um, I forgot to. Well, it's not that I forgot. I've been meaning to. I'm doing a lot of recording, okay, and so I do apologize that. Okay, why isn't it live yet? What is going on? Oh, there it is. Okay. Nope. Yes. There we are. Now I found it. Now I found us. Okay, so now I got the chat up. I hope you got to see my invitation. Those of you that will hopefully see this later. I am going to do a bit of an energetic collective read while there's no one here. I am the only one watching from my phone, so I can see the um, chat. We also got to get our list ready. So the way this works, in the event that you did not see the invitation, is that once I complete the collective reading, then if you are interested in having me read a card for you, I don't take questions. I'm not a psychic. I am honing my listening, my internal ears. Um, this is me exploring me with your help, if you're willing. And that is all this is. It is for entertainment purposes. There's no, um, I don't know what else to say about that. This is, everybody. Um, and okay, so the energy is running really, 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 really fast for me today. And things are just moving in and out of my vessel so quickly. I had to make myself a tea. I hope you have something warm for you. It's a combination of clove and holy basil, little honey, little grass-fed butter, little medium chain triglycerides getting ready to go in there. I find that this concoction for me soothes my central nervous system is the way it feels. I found holy basil quite by accident and have been so impressed with how my body feels when I have a tea or a tincture. I don't know if anyone else has ever felt this way. What at one time in my life I would have categorized as an anxiety attack, I now see, sense, and feel completely differently as I have noticed some similarities. It's as though my body starts freaking out. Um, and I think I really do feel it's an energetic thing now because when I add something like, well, the tea, self-care, meditation, um, I don't require any sort of anything else, which I was uh, subjecting myself to on the orders of the authorities, you know, those with letters after their names for a long, many years. So, at any rate, the fairies definitely want to jump out here today for our collective. I had some noticings that I wanted to share. Came across my field quite unexpectedly this morning. In three different ways, I was shown a video of Jordan B. Peterson speaking on the crisis of meaning. He was talking to Jesse Waters, and he's written a book called Those Who Wrestle with God, or We Who Wrestle with God, I guess, pretty thick book. Um, I'm convinced that whether he knows it or not, believes it or not, whatever, Jordan B. Peterson is on his own quest for the truth of who he is, and it's spilling out for everybody to hear, see, witness, because it's very interesting that he's using some of the same terminology that I'm using, in that as we each learn language, there's a difference between connotation and denotation, he says. And I never had, those words before, but he's so correct. It's exactly what I've been saying. And as soon as more of us realize that just because we think somebody else understands the words that are coming out of your mouth, my mouth, his mouth, her mouth, the quicker we know that that may not be the case. There's a difference between connotation and denotation, and he is so right. We all know the dictionary meaning of words, but we all also know that some folks have experienced those words in differing ways, and that's what I meant, the connotation, right? So, in fully three different places, because Cliff High was speaking on this too this morning on his Substack, uh, Ether Pirates of the Materium, or something like that, is the name of Cliff High's thoughts and musings. Oh, Lease of the Shadows, card number 44. This is a numerologically, that is considered a master number. So fully three different places. So that tells me that I can release myself from thinking, wondering if I've got it right or not. Because I mean, I've had enough personal experience to see that I'm right for me. But apparently, it feels as though more and more and more folks actually are beginning to understand that this is so. This too, if one gives oneself a few moments to consider what we see playing out on the world stage with the, what many have now termed the lamestream media, and I'll just say legacy media. There's been these word games that have been played. And so that too is pointing in the direction for everyone to see that, right? And so, the truth of it is, hey, sweetie heart, I'm live right now. Join me if you like. I'm going to be pulling cards for folks. Somebody just messaged me. So at any rate, I just, it's those kinds of communications from the universe that let me know that I'm on the right track for myself. Now, that doesn't mean it would be the right track for you, but for me, that's the gauge of my experiment, right? Do as the communications from the universe happened to come across my ooh, dragon power. Oh, we are loaded with the master numbers today. That's very interesting for the collective. Dragon power. Well, I guess maybe this might be too early in the day on a Wednesday for an intuitive hangout session. I'm going to give it a little while. We'll do this collective reading. And if no one shows to have a card pulled, well, then I'll know that this is not the right spot or, right timing for that. I always feel, though, those who are drawn, they're meant to be here. There's a reason, a purpose. Exactly what that reason and purpose is, only time will tell. But generally, there's usually something in it for those who show. So let's see. So far we have two fairies that wanted to show out from two different decks. Well, actually, that's the Sacred Forest deck that I just drew from there. So, oh wow, we had two of these come out. This is from the Hero's Journey deck here. And I'm asking this question specifically for me. What else may I concentrate on surrendering in order to open myself fully and completely to the universe? Ooh. Okay. Wow. That's a very quick answer. Surrender to prayer. Now, prayer can mean all sorts of things. Again, it's the connotation of the word, right? Not the denotation. Many will hear that and shy away from it because they've walked away from religion because of the belief systems that are attached to that. Some will be shocked to hear that a channel such as mine that does tarot and whatnot does pray, as I do. But again, prayer means different things to each individual who practices it or who is hearing the word, saying the word, using the word. It means something different for everyone. Wow, this is going to be just a collective reading, I guess. Hey, it's what it feels like in this moment. This one came out. Ooh, yeehaw! Well, this really actually is the energy for today for me. Okay, so it's been when I said there's a lot of energy running through my vessel, and I felt like it was getting stuck. So my housemate, before she left on an outing, she was kind enough to help me loosen up these channels. It was very helpful, and all of a sudden the energy's just so can't recommend having intuitive hands uh, massage if at all possible. Can't recommend that enough. For me, it seems to open energetic channels. Part of that I suspect has to do with lymph movement. Yes. Part of it has to do with just misalignment in my spine, which I definitely have. So there's lots of different things for that. And I just love that yeehaw is the overall energy for this reading for the collective. When it comes to choosing who will be in your life, I recommend valuing their yeehaw quality above all others. Have it your way. Special orders don't upset us. The universe. I love that. And you know what? That is true. Um, I recommend valuing their yeehaw. Yeah, because what does excite, you know, each, right? The surrender to prayer here, give yourself over completely to prayer. When you pray from your heart, you will be heard throughout the universe and answers and support will arrive. I I know this to be true. I I put a call out to the universe for some information, and like I said, I'm being bombarded with um, answers, and I even have some that I'm waiting to hear more answers from. And it's just been a very yeehaw kind of day so far for me. Okay, so these other ones want to come out in the order in which they were drawn. So first we go to Lease of the Shadows, card number 44, which, as I said, is a master number. And I'm not quite clear. Again, I know that fours represent foundation. I'm also aware that there was a channeled piece from Mother Mary or Mary Magdalene, not quite sure how it was put. And it can be found on Reiki Doc blog if you just search for Reiki Doc. Her name is Carla Ross. And I remember back when I very first started Reiki, being, one of the Reiki participants that I was being trained with, shared her website with me. And I know that in I personally, along my experimentation path, there's a list of numbers that carry particular frequencies according to the channel that was coming through as, I believe it was Mary Magdalene or Mother Mary. I'm not quite sure how that was worded. At any rate, there was something that resonated with me in regards to um, I placed it at 4444. I wrote it in a Sharpie on my arm. I had forgotten that I'd done that. And I started being told by different beings, a numerologist, an autistic child, that I was a herald. And then someone else shared that well, isn't the herald Archangel Gabriel? And there's something inside of me that just kind of clicked, and I think I carry what I will call an aspect of that archangel. I think all of us carry different aspects of everything. We are all one and yet singular in nature. And the way it feels to me is when we decide to come here and play, it's almost, this is why I want to experience Dungeons and Dragons, because I have this funny feeling that our Earth incarnations could be related to Dungeons and Dragons, so to speak. Now, I don't really know how to play that game. That was something that my brother was into as a teenager. He's 4 years younger than me. And I was already married and gone and all that kind of stuff when he was into that. And so I don't really know how it's played, but I suspect that you create this character and you give it certain attributes, and then the gameplay begins. And it's sort of planned out, but it's not planned out because you have a little way to go, but it's also because you're playing with other people and there's free will involved. So I suspect it's very similar to that as to how we do that here. And when I question myself about that, My inner guidance is basically, yes, that's how this works. The whole point of it is to I guess in some ways the way I feel about it is to, challenge oneself. Can you wake up to the truth of who you are? Oh, you talk a good game outside of this game, but can you really go in there and do it? Hmm. And now I think that that is maybe the case. And I can, be all upset about it, but I'm pretty sure I put myself here. And looking back over some of the things that I actually have been through and what they've led to and where I now suspect they're going to, oh, I can see my handiwork all over that stuff. I would be just the one to set it up just like this. Oh, trust me. One of them attitudes, oh, let me in there. I'll show you how it's done, which is the funniest thing, if you ask me. And right or wrong, I'm 63, so I get to go about my life that way because I'm sure as shit a hell of a lot happier in these moments of now, practicing and learning and experimenting with my life and myself and my consciousness. And now I believe with all of me that what that does is create an energetic pathway for others. If you want to find out who you are and you want to experiment whether or not you actually have any magic powers, I don't know. Least of the shadows. The key words for this card are healing the shadows, addictions, bondage, self esteem. Lise works hard. She has a very tough job to do, and she puts a great deal of tough love into it. She prowls the night streets looking for those in need of her help and finds far too many of them. Lise is the patron fairy of social workers, therapists, healers, and all others who try to help alcoholics and drug addicts and other souls caught in the darkness of their own inner shadows or who are abused by those who should have protected them. However, she doesn't sit in an office somewhere. She is out there on the dark and dangerous streets, lending a healing hand here, soothing an anguished brow there, whispering comfort and encouragement into a lonely ear, and bringing a touch of hopeful rainbow light into the deepest shadows, including those in darkened human hearts. Like the Laum, much of her work flows through the hearts and then the hands and words of humans who make themselves available for such work. She inspires souls to connect with one another in a healing way. Her specialty is help for the hopeless, for the ones that most everyone else, including themselves, have given up on. The street people, the lost children of our society, those who have fallen through the cracks and rips in our feeble social safety nets. Oh, wow. I was just flashed my experience yesterday. Lisa and I were out gathering our groceries, and in two separate places, two separate incidences, we were approached by two different ladies. And the one lady even said, I don't know why I'm telling you my life story. That is the kind of thing that this is speaking to here. Oh my. Like the Lam, she often works through human hands, and she may call upon you for help in her work. It turned out that this lady had a very similar situation as my sister just before or around Hurricane Helene. She had a stroke and she also had a fall. It was very interesting how that all took place. Wow. Out of curiosity, I asked Lise why she chose to have her card in this particular group of fairies instead of the one before, where I might have expected her to be more at home. She shrugged, gave me a cheeky grin, and said, these guys know where to find the best nectar and nuts. Even though she has wings, our Lise is very down to earth and practical. Ultimately, Lise is trying to help people develop true self respect and self esteem. But she has to start much farther down the scale of idealism than that. She tries to inspire practical help for those who need it most. She is the inspiration for the first wobbly steps taken by a damaged soul toward healing. Her presence in a reading indicates that something that had seemed lost and fixed in that loss is now open to healing. Someone is ready to begin with help the climb out of the inner mire. There is hope here and a need for a loving kindness tempered by practicality. If you call upon Lise for assistance in helping another, she will always give it, often by encouraging that person to be receptive and others to also be helpful. She always has time to support those who have time for others. And I'm not sure what has taken place all of us all at once as I was reading this, and in particular this last little bit here. It's like the energy that I was feeling that was very, very frenetic and rushing through. It's either seating properly or something. There's just very it there was a sense of this, yeah, and it's still coming in, an overwhelming sense of, so I'm not quite sure. Oh, okay, thank you. I was about to say I'm not quite sure. I think see just that little bit of the holy basil clove tea, and my body is already beginning to relax. That's what that is. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so as I was reading that, I could see exactly. I'm very honored when someone approaches me like that in a store. First of all, those beings felt safe in my presence. That's a big deal. For a complete stranger in a grocery store, it was Big Lots and Publix. What happened was the lady wanted a box of tissues, and I was standing in front of the tissues, so I handed her a box of tissues, and her hand briefly brushed mine, and it seemed like that was all it took. And she just began. And that is such an honor to be present, to be trusted immediately like that. It did something for me. Yeah. Wow. Okay. If nothing else, I had to see that today. Oh my, how beautiful is that? Good gravy. Okay. Now, let's see. Next, we have the sacred forest here. And as I said, this one is card number 11. So yet another um, master number, and it's dragon power. For the longest time in all the comics, cartoons, books, everybody always, there's something about the dragon and the maiden. Um, I'm not quite sure what tries to show itself to me in regards to that. But I've always thought that this could also be a metaphor, right? As you see the light there, right around her midsection to her upper torso, for me, those are the most active of the chakras, the solar plexus and the heart together with the high heart. That's how I think we create, right? So it's not lost on me that that big bright light there is in that area and it speaks to the dragon power. You've fallen asleep on the forest floor. The night was cold. As you snuggled into some leaves, you felt warm and comfortable as you slept. In the early morning, you stretch and open your eyes to find a dragon has lovingly wrapped himself around you in the night. He opens his large eyes and looks at you with kindness and compassion, and you know that all is well. This card suggests it's time to step into your power and take charge of your life. Well, that's kind of interesting given what's been happening around here and how I'm actually feeling about it. I think I shared yesterday we found mold growing in our laundry room, and now I'm suspecting that the entire house may have an issue as my breathing has, I feel like I'm a canary in the coal mine, and it's gotten so difficult that with all that energy running through me today, breathing was a bit of an issue, right? So I find this very interesting. It's certainly speaking to me. I'd love to know if it's speaking to you as well. So please do let me know in the comments whether you're here now or you watch this later on. So this card suggests it's time to step into your power and take charge of your life. Look to see if there is anyone in your life who is trying to run the show. Well, it would be kind of difficult when it comes to me. Speak your truth and take back authority of your own life. You're ready to stand in your strength. If you've lost or given away your authority to someone or something else, it's now time to reclaim it. If you're holding on to limiting beliefs, or if you're afraid of being shunned, judged, or ostracized, it's time to let go of those limitations. Release any fear of misusing your gifts. True strength doesn't dominate or manipulate. No, this is true. There'll be no hostages on my journey. If you don't like what you hear here, you don't agree with it, whatever, no worries, man. You don't have to play in my playground. There are, I'm sure, plenty of folks that want to come and play with me. I'm a pretty cool cat. You know what I mean? Uh, Above the ark said, yes, you are picking up on the house we have lived in during our awakening. We are being prepared to lift off. I sense great aid coming to pick us up and out. I do as well, and it's quite exciting to be honest with you. I'm like I said, the energy has been off the hook for me today in particular. Um, so yeah, I mean, this right here about release any fear of misusing your gifts. I don't think there has been a lot of beings that have misused gifts from one perspective. That's the way it can be held, right? There's always more than one perspective to perceive a thing, but also that sort of behavior is no longer supported on any sort of energetic level. And I mean, for me, that seems very clear, very clear. There is so much disclosure going on right now that if you're not taking the time to really peek around and see what's going on, unless they are actually taking the time to doing AI representations of what's going on up there in Congress. I heard some things this morning that I was like, oh, okay, we're actually going to talk about this now in this kind of way, in this kind of public, and y'all are admitting to this? Oh, that's very interesting. But you see, it had to be in the consciousness of the planet first. And that's what's been going on for all the truthers that spent all those years. I was one from 2009 to, I don't know, 2014, probably, when I started realizing that, hey, wait a minute, there's a huge spiritual component that's not being looked at. And I always said that those two areas had to merge, right? Well, I see that really happening on a very large level. And in some corners, it's taking a little bit longer than others. But again, it has to do with the level of consciousness that can allow that light in. We've all been traumatized by different things. Good God, we certainly don't want to traumatize folks any further. Wow, you're the first person to talk about the AI videos in media. It's all AI. Well, that's why, listen, honey, let me just share this with you. I take everything that I see here out there for granted. Not granted, sorry, with a big grain of salt, salt shaker, mountain of salt, whatever, because I run it all through my own internal discernment now. And I advocate that for each being, because that, for me, that's the only thing we can actually trust. And in truth, that's hard for a lot of us. It was really hard for me because we've been taught from time we could, I don't know, suck our thumbs not to trust ourselves. I mean, on any kind of level. When I think about how I was raised, and I am witnessing my own child, whom I loaded up with the programming and condition, let me tell you, because I was nowhere near awake. Once you start waking up and you see the erroneous programming that you've installed in your own child, and you watch as that continues into your grandchild, that under no kind of circumstances can I unsee that we have done this to ourselves for generation upon generation upon generation of not trusting our own discernment. So it does take each being, but see, I'm also convinced that no one can make a mistake. I think we all plan, like I was saying before, I don't know if you were here for this above the arc, but I shared that I suspect that this is very much like what we're doing here. I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I feel like I feel like it's a role-playing game that we have going on here. And we all set it all up as best we could, what we wanted to experience, what powers we were going to allow ourselves to actually have an inkling that we could do, those kinds of things. And now looking at it like that is very exciting to me, because apparently I'm revealing things to myself left, right, and center as my consciousness evolves and grows. The more I open to uh, releasing, see right here it says, if you're holding on to limiting beliefs, or if you're afraid of being shunned, judged, or ostracized, it's time to let go of those limitations. Release any fear of misusing your gifts. True strength doesn't dominate or manipulate. It's a gift from the Creator that dwells within you. You have the spiritual power that's born of sacred love, wisdom, and grace. This ability can heal others and bring light into darkness. You are a radiant, glorious being. Dragon Spirit at your side is a mighty ally. He empowers you with healing and restorative abilities. He helps you overcome any obstacle and he protects you in all areas of your life. The spirit of the dragon says, within you dwells the remarkable power to manifest your dreams, gain great riches, and activate ancient wisdom. Take back your power and express your strength with grace. Wow, I love that. Because honestly, I don't have to harm anyone else in proving to myself that my hypothesis about who and what I am is true. I don't have to, there's absolutely nothing in that hypothesis that would cause me to even want to do anything like that. And that's the beautiful part of all of this. Okay, so the next one, well, actually two, because they came flying out. Card number 46, be reborn daily. Let go of the past and breathe into your new incarnation. Wow. Well, kind of interesting that it appears like that as well, because 46 is a one numerologically, made up of a four, which is foundation, a six, which is love, harmony, and balance. And it makes up a one, which for me is the representation of the combined am I question. Because zero for me starts the I am from the void. Well, is it the I am is one? Yes. That feels better and more right to me. The zero really is the void where it's an all-encompassing ocean of love, and just the I am is the first instance of I is separate from that ocean of unconditional love where all is one, right? So very interesting. Because you see, we've also been sort of fooled into thinking that things are one way or another, that they're not, um, that they can't be both, that they can't be true and false at the same time, right? Because, well, well, if it's true, then it can't be false at the same time, but it can. It absolutely can because we are multidimensional beings. And it also would depend on a being's perspective. It can be true for me and false for you, and both be correct. And I know that's a bit of a mind warper, too. But okay, so the second one that came out is card number 16. Numerologically, that's a seven. It's always meant divinity to me. You're in great company. Pull back to propel forward. Well, I like that. I am at this moment, living in community of sorts. We're in a teeny tiny place. It has mold growing, and we're trying to get out of here and get a bigger place because one of us sleeps in the living room right now as a bedroom, and that's kind of a bummer. And we only have one toilet. So it's really very interesting the way this is all going down, too, because all at once, all at once, this seems like or feels to me as a very cohesive unit that we have moving forward here, to begin the outgrowth of what we feel is possibly a new way of being. I don't know how to explain that any better than that, but um, what I've learned over the last years of living in this very small community, it's just a family and me. Um, is that when you are focused inward to resolve unresolved traumas that have affected one's behavior and life in ways that are very detrimental, and everyone is aware that we are all doing that work. It's a whole different. I've never lived anywhere or with any beings where the unconditional love is actually real. And I don't know, working on this in company with others who are working on the same, knowing that if one is triggered, that's an unresolved trauma within that being that has nothing to do with the triggerer. And you see, in trying to work on things like this with folks like in your own family and everything else, I know I tried it. I wasn't capable. I would get triggered every single time. But being able to do this in company in the way that has happened for me has been oh so helpful. So I'm not at all surprised to see this. I really do feel like this is going to be happening more and more for folks. I find it also very interesting to me. This is very much what I will call Azoth energy, a mixing to me of fire and water, which I feel energetically for me is what my inner guidance keeps showing me is a new way of being as well, right? There's taking that the oomph from emotions and I don't know, resolved trauma, but there's an oomph there so that when as in moving forward in a healed fashion, it I don't know, it carry, because fire is a very male um, element and it's action and it's moving forward. And so to me, when I see this card and I see a mix of that right there, it feels very much like that to me. So you're in great company. Pull back to propel forward. Breathing in, I see all my ancestors in me, my mineral ancestors, plant ancestors, mammal ancestors, and human ancestors. My ancestors are always present, alive in every cell of my body, and I play a part in their immortality. That's a quote from, and I hope I don't mispronounce this. Uh, I don't know if you pronounce the TH in his name. Is it Thich Nhat Hanh? Hello, Vanessa. Welcome. I don't know if that's how you pronounce that. It's ThichNhatHanh. I can see his face and I know who they're speaking on here. That is a quote by, and it is a beautiful quote. And I do feel that that's a true statement. That's why a lot of different folks talk about releasing generational karma. As I've lost the weight that I carried, and most specifically in the last few years, as these cells uh, break down and move out of my body, sometimes I get memories, and I know that they're stored in those cells. Vanessa here, so nice to oops, sorry, I can't see that. See you and catch you this morning. Well, I'm so glad that you did. This is a bit of an experiment. I don't usually do that at this time of day, but I'm getting a little older and trying to do these at night have been kind of tough on me. So thank you for being here. And there are four people in the room now, so I'll say again, this is meant to be an intuitive hangout session. So I will be reading cards for folks if you want. I don't have anybody on the list right now. I'm finishing the last card from a collective reading while nobody was here. So if you want a card, let me know and I'll put it on my list and we'll play. Don't ask a question though. as I explained in my invitation, which I don't know if you had a chance to see, this is really about me honing my inner ear to pull my presence forward. The way I'm guided to do this, do you see, I feel these cards are a tool, a way to hear myself better, to really get in here and experiment with me and my higher self. Okay, Vanessa, I'll definitely put you on the list. And the way it works, well, I'll finish this card and then I'll explain, okay? So, those who have made the biggest impact on the planet, in addition to feeling extremely passionate, felt resistance to Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, Harriet Tubman, Joan of Arc, Sacagawea, and Mary Curie are but a few. Every hero and shero in history has had moments of self doubt, even paralyzing fear before doing the courageous act that became their legacy. They felt the fear, but did what they were called to do anyway. For this reason, you need not be detoured when you bump against uncertainty. In fact, doubt helps to chisel the ego out of the way, which is key to accomplishing a mission of merit and becoming a channel of grace a higher purpose can move through. Know that you are in great company, and when you are ready, you'll get up and go like the great ones who have come before you, upon whose shoulders you now stand. And this is the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle, just to someone somewhere, whether it's now or later, is wanting to know about this, what book this is from. But there's a dream symbol here, which I feel compelled to share because it has the keyword of party. And I got something on that. So, dreams of a party are a celebration, integration, and or an affirmation that you are on track. Wow, I love that part. This dream may also be giving you the message that there is strength in numbers and you are never alone. Consider the way you feel at your dream party. If you are uncomfortable, it reflects dissonance, and that self love is needed to entwine the many aspects of yourself. If you feel that you fit in, and it is a jovial experience, then you are in harmony with yourself. Wow. Okay. Now, there is a mantra for this, and I always advocate folks make their own, but I am going to read it. Like the heroes before me, I feel the doubt and follow through anyway. So, the reason I say I got something on that is that I had a bit of an experience with dreams, and as part of New Light Streaming Love, we will be doing segments on. I create on Conscious Conversation Central. I created a segment called Dream Space because I wanted to delve into what is the dream space. It's way more than what we are told, believe, suspect. I think it's much, much, much more. And so if you're interested in coming and chatting about a dream you've had, or you would like to just chat about what you think dreams are, reach out to me at Conscious Conversation Central because we are going to be starting to do that again. Okay, today's Wednesday. Sunday night, we had a grandma who had a dream about some conversation that was taking place that was actually quite prophetic. She just didn't know it. Or did she? Then we had another grandma the very next night, unbeknownst to her about the other grandma having that dream, had a very similar dream. And so I'm just saying that this is a very interesting that this is talking about dreams and also party because in those dreams there were people involved in them and the whole moving aspect that may be happening for us. Above the Ark said, "You got it. You see things that we have tried to tell others, and it went right through them." Yes, you were sent to me. I want to be part of that. Oh, okay. Well, awesome. Reach out to me at Conscious Conversation Central at gmail.com and let me know what sort of time zone you're in, whether or not you can be available, days or nights or whatever that is. Because normally, what I like to do with that is to meet and have our conversation recorded, and then we share it out rather than doing it live because sometimes, until everything gets situated, I there are some conversations that I am a little hesitant to release on YouTube. They would be released on Rumble, X, other places that I'm aware of that we are a little more, or I should say, a little less censor heavy. So be sure and reach out to me with a way I can get in touch with you. Okay. Now, Vanessa, and anyone else that's here that wants a card, here's how this works for me. And just so we're very clear about what I'm doing, I recognize and use all of my tarot that I've ever been drawn to, tarot, oracle. I've created some tiles, actually, all kinds of ways. These are all ways to hone my focus and attention so that the me, my ego consciousness, can hear my heart based consciousness, my higher self, for lack of a better term, that greater being that exists and is here guiding me in every moment. I just don't sometimes hear it with me, and it's so different for every being. Let me just say that right here and now. When I first started Conscious Conversation Central and we were having conversations about consciousness, and I was learning more and more and more what everybody else was, how they were perceiving what consciousness is and how it expands and all of those things. Oh, sure. Conscious Conversation Central at gmail.com. That's the way to get straight to me. And I will put it in the show more section of this video as well. Or you can also go to newlightstreaming.love and find my Sheila Corona. You'll see my picture there, and you should be able to find my email address there as well. So I have always felt that anything and everything that I use is a tool to get me further into me, to allow my presence, my consciousness to take center stage. Because my ego, and I have a nickname for my ego, and which is so funny because my housemate said she has experienced my ego exactly the way I've described it. I He's like a 21-year-old male used car salesman, slicker than snot, and can convince people of anything. Okay, but knows it. All right, and and that's an energetic that I used to carry around quite a bit. It was what I led with, and I call him Smarmy. And but you see, I never felt comfortable with killing my ego. That didn't sound right to me when I was looking into spirituality and everybody's talking about killing the ego. I'm like, wait a minute, hang on, hang on, hang on. I know that ego isn't a great thing necessarily, but it's also the personality. I'm sorry, but I kind of like who I am. Not everybody hates me. Some people really like me. So I realized that, so it just took a little while for me to get that, oh, wait a minute. Just because they say I have to kill my ego doesn't mean I have to, number one. And number two, I really have learned that it's really a puzzle piece collecting kind of gig we got going on here. At least for me, I set up my entire life like a quest. And that means I'm not going to get all the answers right off. And nobody out there is going to hand them to you either. So you better forget that right now. Anybody that tells you they got the way, the only way, you better run, in my opinion. You better run because they're trying to sell you something, convince you of something, talk you into doing, as far as I'm concerned. Now, I can't be mad at the medical industrial complex. Just can't let it drive. No, that's right. Just can't let it drive, BW. You are so right. And Smarmy wants to jerk the wheel all the time. But I will say this, as my consciousness has grown, and once Smarmy realized that this larger portion of myself has been wooing me this whole time, oh my God. Ah, I was out in public when that finally came in, and I saw that my soul, that larger portion of me, has been enticing me, enticing Smarmy to just let me take the lead. I will show you things. I will take you places and let you have the fun that you've been craving. And I'm telling you, I am not disappointed. I am not disappointed. I'm 63, and I'm telling you what, I am so much happier and healthier and younger looking, by the way, since I started this quest. So everybody gets to choose for themselves as to how they want to move through life. And, for me, this is where it's at. And that's why I am very clear that if you end up on this channel and you feel drawn to me for any reason, I carry transparency because I want to see every dark corner inside of me. I want to see that trauma. I want to resolve that trauma. I want to take my inner child up into my arms and let her know that she is safe with me because she wasn't safe before I became present. And so it's taking a little time for her to trust me, that little inner child, because that's also who we carry around with us. Every being on this planet carries around a wounded inner child inside. So the moment you want to step out in judgment of anybody else for any kind of reason, just know that. Just feel into that for yourself and realize they don't even know it. And half the time they don't believe it. That's why I'm not with my last husband of 28 and a half years, because he didn't believe that he was carrying around a wounded child that needed his attention. I knew I did, and I was finally giving mine the attention that it deserved. We parted amicably, and I love him with all of me. He has the right to choose how he wants to move through the rest of his life, and at all reports, he's happy, and I'm so glad for that. It wasn't right for me. And so, yes, above the arc, face that shadow. I karate chopped mine, accepted, forgiven, transformed. Well, I'm really that's lovely to hear. For me personally, it's just about the time I think I've got it fully transformed. I find a little piece of that shadow in a different shape, form, color, but basically the same kind of issue, just a little bit different, hiding around the corner like a dust bunny under a bed. So I know that this is a continual thing, and but I'm not afraid of what I will find. And um, so, Vanessa, to get back to you, honey, before you say, oh my God, she talks too much and I'm leaving, are you still in the house? If you are, I'm going to go ahead and explain now, because there are five folks in the room, how I do this and why I don't take questions. At 63 years old, you've seen a thing or two, maybe five or six, and you're all too willing to give advice. Don't do this, don't do that. And sometimes people listen to you. Well, that's not how I operate for this. This is not an expression of helping you. Oh, wait a minute, preparing live stream. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, okay. I did just see it flash on my phone too. I'm sorry if we're having trouble, guys. It is kind of dark here today and rainy. Um, but the thing of it is, what I was saying there was so that we don't get the 63-year-old grandma giving you advice. We're going to skip the questions. You hold it in your field. I get quiet. I ask my larger self to then step into your field and communicate with your larger being, your higher self. And what do you want to them to know? What should we bring forward, right? Now, again, I'm practicing this and I give what I get, all the feelings in my body, how it makes me feel, any stories that come from it. And surprisingly enough, it actually it stopped at 2:22 my time. Well, that's very interesting. Well, you must be in the East Coast because that's what I must have been because it's 2:24 for me now. That's the kind of delay we have too. Okay, so wow. So when I give you sensations that come from my vessel, generally they mean specific things to me. Sometimes lately I've been getting new stuff that I'm not quite sure, so I just give what I get. And you would be surprised, I'm not anymore, at just how that comes out. And that's also what makes this fun. Um, it wasn't that long ago on a different channel, I was doing this and I started sweating. It was cold and I had no reason to sweat, but this was happening while I was in somebody's field. Turns out that being was sitting in a hot tub. Coincidence? I don't happen to believe in coincidence, so also I think I don't know if the being that this happened with just recently is here, but um, there was an injury on the right side of the body, and I was apparently picking that up. So yes, Daryl, I am. I'm so glad you came back. Thank you for being here. And I also want to say, those of you who are not subscribed would love to have you join and like the video. I can see why some people don't want to share. And again, I'm not worried about all that kind of stuff because I feel like if you're drawn here, there's a reason. I'm not trying to go after people because this is not about making money. It's really not even about you. It's more for me. And if you have fun and you are enjoying it and you get something out of anything I say, I feel like that's a win-win. So, does that all sound good to you, Vanessa? You never answered me, so I'm not sure if you're still here or if you took off. And like I said, that happens sometimes. I get in the flow and it just give me yes, you're still here or a heart or something, love, so I know you're still here. Okay, great. Now I'm gonna stop for a moment and just drink this kratom real quick, okay? Sometimes when I have to put my hair up for a while, it starts giving me a headache. Mm. All right, so I use I do use the adaptogen kratom. Once I found out that the 14 medications that the medical establishment had me on, five of those were for pain. And once I stopped them, and I was told by a naturopath that it would probably take me about 5 years to completely detox my body from all the medications that I had been on, and possibly would not, a lot of them probably had embedded themselves in fat cells that I have. I stopped taking all pharmaceuticals. And anytime I have any pain, I use a natural remedy because it's my understanding that Tylenol and aspirin and all of that stuff is just as bad for your liver as some of the other things. So that and it works. So there's a good thing for that. Okay, Vanessa. So if that all sounds great to you, you said yes. So here we go. Okay, I'm going to step into your field now. Okay, so the very moment I stepped into your field, I had a little bit of a tinge in my lower back. Now, again, this is one of those things where I have scoliosis and I do have back issues, so it could be mine. But it's very interesting to me that the moment I felt as I was energetically stepping into your, and I'm also seeing green. Why is that? Maybe you're going through a heart activation at this time. I don't know. I think that's my one of the partners here at New Light Streaming Love, Chris J. You guys probably remember seeing her with me sometimes in the Morning Mojo chats. She got the other day that there's a major heart chakra opening happening on the planet. So I'm not surprised to get this for you. Because the minute like I said, after I said that about the tinge, and it was just a tinge, by the way, my back is not aching in any way. It was a tinge. So I don't know if that's something for you. If you're not already having back issues, you're either around somebody who is, or this could also be just be careful with yourself as you're lifting things or whatever that you don't strain what is feeling to be the lower part of the back. And the green, like I said, for me is very much about the heart chakra. Anything else? The minute I ask that question, I'm getting some, it's not clicking, but my eardrum on this side, it's not reverberating necessarily, but it feels interesting or different. Okay, that's anything else? All of a sudden now I wanted to do a little bit of imperceptible rocking. So that could indicate that there is something new either about to begin in your field or somebody around you is beginning something new. Um, because that's one of my signs for initiation or initiating something. Okay, so which deck wants to come out and play with Miss Vanessa? Okay. I actually think that yep, I'm getting two cards want to come out for you. Oh, having back issues and major jaw issues, trauma. Okay, you feel that that you are to resolve some trauma that, or was the jaw trauma? It was the jaw trauma, or because there's the reason I think I'm asking the question. There is some thought Actually, I have a friend who's been looking into the what she calls German new medicine. Jaw was trauma. Okay. Um, that and I know that Helen, is it Helen, the the lady who does Hay House, what's her name? Not Helen. Louise Hay. Okay, Louise Hay wrote a book about how failed dental work and fall hitting jaw. Oh, I'm so, so sorry, my love. Okay, all right. No, and it was on the right side. I am so sorry to hear that because I know that can be very painful. Anything to do with jaws. It affects so much. Um, yes, okay. Ooh, strength. Okay. The strength card came out. It now, wow, there's a lot in this card too. See, this is one of those things where I say I use decks with artwork that will draw me in so that I can really hear my own. Okay, yeah, wow. I feel like that just from looking at the card, it feels to your field, which I'm getting from this card, perhaps that either you're experiencing this now or you will. So making me feel a little bit like that energy I was sharing that I was having when I first connected here. Okay, just a lot of energy that was affecting my body. And in this strength card, she is actually having two lions there, which is very much like the chariot as well. Now, and the chariot card is all about can mean moving, yes, but it's also for me, it talks a lot about well, shadow work. Oh my word. I swear I just thought I saw my name in there. It must be the name of the artist, but this is so interesting to me. Right there, that actually almost looks like Sheila. I know it's not gonna. So that's quite interesting to me. It's almost as though that lion was labeled with my name because I happened to see it just like that. That was very interesting. Okay, so I feel like you're sort of surrounded by not just a lot of energy, but also maybe even some aggravated or aggravating, angering, because these two lions don't really look all that happy, right? And while she isn't, I don't see that they are tethered to her. It looks like she is holding. Well, actually, that doesn't even look like a hand in the other one. It looks like a almost like a retractable whip that's a snake as well. See, this is the Starman Tarot based on the David Bowie um, movie, I guess. It was purchased for me as a gift by a viewer, and which I'm ever so grateful. Um, yeah, I feel like you're surrounded with an awful lot of energy right now that it would be easy for you to interpret and take into yourself, but she is holding herself erect. She is in control of herself without the need to jerk them into line. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. She's allowing them to express themselves and they aren't attacking her. So I guess in many ways, this is a testament to what you're moving through, the fact that you are um, moving forward. even with all of this energy around you that um, may be uh, resistant in some ways to change that you are desirous of making within yourself. Um, and I feel like this is just saying, have strength and know that you're on the right path. Okay, so now the Sufi wisdom oracle wanted to come out for you as well. This is a replacement, not a replacement, but I'm gonna try it for a while, and I actually put my Rumi deck up, and I'm kind of missing it. So, but it, I was asking if it really wanted to come out for you, and it did say yes. So, and Daryl, don't go anywhere because you're coming right up next. And there are six folks out there, so I'll just say again, if you would like a card, just type. I'll take a card and I'll put your name on my list. And Daryl's my last one. So if nobody takes a card after Daryl, I guess that'll be it for today. I'd like to have a jumper here for Vanessa, please. I know this is a newer deck. Oh, that one. Okay. Determination. Perseverance leads to fortune, which I find very interesting given that I said she is standing steadfast, right? And this character looks like he's alone, but he's not. And neither are you, my dear. In many ways, we are meant to walk this path alone, and I would tell you, it's a real shocker to learn that no one ever will understand you. It is. That's the way it is. It's the only bit of privacy we have, to be fair, is our perspective on things. Because for the very reasons I spoke to you guys before about words and our experiences of them are quite different from each other. It's the same exact thing. It goes hand in hand with that. But now, knowing that, makes everything, I don't know, for me, it changed everything. When I realized that the only one that really needs to understand me is me. Because I learned that, oh, wait a minute. How do I expect somebody else out there to understand me when I don't even understand me? And that's the truth of that. I've never been so tired and felt so alone in my whole life, yet surrounded by so many people. Well, this is for me, and I know at first that that's going to sound so disheartening, right? But I can assure you that once you begin to comfort you and you realize that in truth, you really don't even know you, my love, I'm 63. I'm here to tell you, I still don't know the truth of who I am. I'm finding out little more bits and pieces all every day, and I'm loving that. And I do get to share that with other beings who accept me just as I am. So I do feel you on that one. That one's a toughie. That one is a real toughie. And I want you to know, Vanessa, anytime I'm always here. You can reach out to me. We can get together. We can have a chat. This is one of the reasons I started my channel. I was alone and feeling all of that stuff too. I'm not, I don't have to sit alone and not have people to talk to and chat with about stuff. I don't have to. I can put that invitation out and y'all can come and chat with me. Just reach out. Conscious Conversation Central at gmail.com. So this one says, perseverance leads to fortune. I struggled and suffered for 40 years, never knowing the remedy I was looking for was in a bottle of vintage wine. That sweet success I was hoping to find in my fortune was hidden in the curls of the beloved's hair. Hafiz. And you see, the other thing about me is that all of these communications, I take the perspective of this is me, the larger portion of me, endeavoring to communicate with the little smaller portion of me. That portion that was, well, my ego, that was programmed and conditioned and taught to not trust itself and not believe in magic. So when I read these things, this is a message from the larger part of me to me. And so I view that as that being the same for everybody I read for. When the going gets tough, call on your power of perseverance. No matter how hard it is or how long it takes, be steadfast in what you are doing. Hafiz is sharing how he was able to taste the pleasure of being in the arms of his beloved through persistence. He did so by doing everything with joy and determination. In this way, perseverance turns vinegar into vintage wine. Dear one, listen to the oracle and give up wondering how to find your place in life. Follow your calling like it is the North Star guiding you in every pursuit of life. As you faithfully pursue your desires, a way will open and you will be guided to other opportunities and blessings, even beyond your dreams. And I really truly believe that so, that for me, like I said, this is all an experiment for me. I'm 63. I really thought I was going to be leaving the planet not 10 years ago because I really was on my way off this planet. I was having to be on oxygen 22 of the 24 hours in a day. I was on 14 different medications and I was receiving injections in my spine. Not having to do that now. And little by little, I'm getting some of my strength back. And as soon as we get out of this mold infested house, I feel like it's going to be gangbusters. But I trust for me now that this is the way forward because ever since I started doing that, I just keep getting better and understanding more and being shown the direction to go. I love this for you. There are many people who excel in the arts of athletics, music, and speech. Some can achieve success in life, but too many of those gifted and able people do not endure and fail to achieve their potential. In contrast, some less visible men and women work diligently, pursue further, and continue their course of action to become outstanding in their craft. Beloved, now is the time for you to organize and to use your time wisely. Now, this feels like it's a very specific message to me. And that is the other thing. I know that when someone asks for a reading, there's something for me in it too, because I'm we're working this together. And as we're trying to get up out of here, beloved, now is the time for you to organize and use your time wisely. Pursue the opportunities that bring blessings to you. If you want to enjoy the journey, be willing to use your leadership skills as well as the skills and experiences of other people who can help you along the way. Which is also why it's so nice to do this in company. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. The mantra here, should you choose to incorporate any of that with your, and again, I say it like that because I'm a big proponent of create your own rituals. Don't just go out there and take somebody else's word for it because we don't have any idea what they meant and how they did it or whatever else. I take everything as I sort of cherry pick. Oh, I like that one. I'll use that in my mantra. Oh, I like that over there. I'll use that. Oh, I don't care for that. No, I don't need that. That kind of thing. Each being finds their own way, is what I'm just convinced about. I'm determined to preserve and live my life filled with trust, patience, determination, and tender affection. So be it. The truth of it is, there was something else over here where it said, follow your calling like it is the North Star guiding you in every pursuit of life. And most people will say, well, I don't know what my calling is. How do I figure out what my purpose is? And they go and they pay sometimes hundreds of dollars to psychics and whatever, please help me figure out my purpose. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If I had the money, I probably would have done it too. However, I'm convinced at this juncture in my life that if one simply follows that which brings them joy in each moment that presents itself to you, and you pay real close attention, you get real present with yourself, anything that lights you up and makes you want to do more of it, even if you never get a dime from it, that's your purpose. That's what that's why I'm doing this, because this is for me. This is not for you, it's for me. I'm so grateful that you want to participate. But I'm very clear. Wow, I love this reading for you, my love. I hope this was helpful and that oh, that's very sweet of you to say, Vanessa. She said you're the one that is strong and so giving and kind. Well, listen, darling, for me, this is what it is. There are other beings who have taught me to look for me. And quite frankly, you're helping me. So thank you so much for being here. I practiced as an RN for 27 years. That's finished now. Unfortunately, due to my injuries, I thought that was my purpose, but there has to be more. Well, let me just share this with you, okay? For me, I now see where every single thing I've been through in my life, every horrific thing, including rape, including abusive husbands, childhood, all kinds of stuff, my working careers, anything and everything that I at one time might have labeled either a mistake or a horrific thing to have had happen to me, I now really see it for what I feel like it is. I set those things up for myself to experience because some of those things, actually, in my opinion, all of those things, were teaching me something, preparing me for something, and I could label them as a mistake if I needed to. The whole time I was in a victim mindset, they were mistakes, and those people were but as soon as I started seeing, I could honestly see my own handiwork in it, because all of that prepared me for what I'm about to embark upon. This right here. As we move into an expansion of consciousness, somebody's got to be the first on the dance floor to look goofy and say, hey, y'all, guess what? And I've done that my entire life in one way or another. You don't get to be 490 pounds without learning a thing or two. You know what I mean? So that was it for you, my love. Daryl, did you stick around? And Vanessa, I would treasure a conversation with you. It doesn't have to be recorded and shared out into the whole world. You feel lonesome and you want to come and chat? Reach out to me, consciousconversationscentral@gmail.com. We can chat. Absolutely, we can chat. So let's see. Did Daryl beat feet for less chatty pastures? don't know if you guys noticed, but okay, so I'm live on New Light Streaming Love, and um, almost all of the chapters of the Jeshua channelings have been released. And I highly recommend, um, if you don't care for an audio book, because that's what it would end up being, I put them into separate chapters following along with the book. And so they should come up one right after another in the playlist. And I think tonight will be the last. I'm going to go and mark them all to public now because there was only one or two. Okay, great, Daryl, left. And highly recommend that. It was quite possibly the most validating channeling set of channelings that I've ever come across. um, Things that I always suspected might be so, and to hear them echoed from a channel that was channeling Jeshua, the human who carried the Christ energy, um, was just fascinating. And I cannot recommend that enough. And I want to also say that I'm being absolutely driven, my nudges, to get this book in there up and running. Now, I happen to know that this book is also the only reason I am doing this as a recording is that this book is on the internet, not only in PDF form, but in uh, audible form, but it's being read by AI. And I don't care for that myself. And because I carry an aspect of the Archangel Gabriel, it has been said of others have reported to me that sometimes when I explain things or share things, for some reason they can understand it. So if you feel drawn, would love for you to check that out as well. Okay, so Daryl, I am going to step into your field now. Wow. I feel as though I was inspired to take a very deep breath as I was stepping into your field. And the moment I said that, I had like a little, um, how would I describe that? It's as though the energy rushed up, yep, there it goes again. Rushed up my head, yep, rushed up my head and did like this, flowered out and then came back down. So I don't know what that means necessarily. Okay. I am aware through some of the research that I did when I was healing myself with water, that the human brain actually flushes itself every night. And so if one is dehydrated, that might be an issue that ends up, unfortunately, contributing to brain fog, or at least it did in my case. I am in no way a doctor. This is just my own personal experience. So take anything I say in regards to that as you will. I have no other explanation for what that was. I've never experienced that. Um, I am aware that there is an ongoing thing on the planet. At least my guidance tells me this is what is happening for me. That my pineal is actually draining and decalcifying, and my inner guidance shares that those who are ready for that are having that as well, and so perhaps that's part of what this is pertaining to. I highly advocate eye masks at night because it blocks out all light, and that assists the pineal in its functions. The pineal is responsible for releasing melatonin into the human body, And so that's part of that mechanism. And light can disrupt that. I sleep with a lot of um, salt lamps, so it's pretty bright in here. So I don't know if that in any way means anything to you. Anything else? Of course, I'm sure this is mine, but all of a sudden, I felt as though I needed to tinkle. So I don't know if maybe that's a thing for anybody else or Daryl, perhaps you, maybe somebody around you, because I don't think I need to go. I mean, I know I can hold it, so okay. And again, that could be just me. Sorry about that. But as I said, I give exactly what I get. Okay, let's see what deck wants to come. Oh, okay, the the shaman, the elemental shaman. No, alchemy elementals wanted to come out for you. This is a relatively new deck that um, was also inspired and gifted, which I'm ever so grateful. Being on a fixed income as an older person, when the rents are so high and the groceries are so high, there's just not anything left over um, for fun stuff, really, of any sort of thing. And it's certainly not like I could live alone, right? Um, so, oh, this one. Ooh, wind, sky, wind, star. Okay. Oh. Okay, I know that's not. Okay, I don't think this is a crow, but it's giving crow energy. This is card number 47, which is a master number 11 numerologically. Okay. And while I've never seen a crow with a tail that long, this is giving me crow energy. Now, one of the things I am very aware of, I also carry the aspect of the dark feminine, aka Lilith, aka the Morrigan. These are all energies that are archetypal and for me one and the same. They're not the same beings by any stretch of the imagination, but they carry an underlying energetic for me that I am aware that I carry. So I don't know if you also carry this. Is this what this is saying? Um, or someone around you. Um, Wow. And the minute I saw this card, I had the feeling of an experience that I had my very first regression. Um, it was before I became a BQH practitioner, before I'd ever conducted my own regressions for others. Um, and I had heard other beings experience. I was present in the room. It was a group of us that were doing this. And everybody had experiences that included, there was all women there, and two of the women were feeling themselves as male. Um, and it just was very interesting to me. They all had bodies that they could see, sense, and feel. They were in specific times. It was a whole scene. And it got to be my turn, and all I could feel was a sense of floating, harmony, peace. Uh, I had all kinds of beautiful colors, but it was just I had no body. I couldn't see a body. I couldn't feel a body. The whole thing was very interesting. And the moment I saw this, I was reminded of that experience. So I'm not quite sure why that's being shown to me, but I feel as though this is very interesting because it also is mm, giving portal energy to me. I'm beginning to wonder, okay, so now I had that feeling like this in your field. I'm wondering if you're experiencing what I'm going to call night travels. Another viewer that has participated in our dream space chats, James Whitkiss, um, he calls what he does at night travels because they're very specific. And he comes back with a lot of information that he when he experiences that. And I'm wondering if you are experiencing this or you suspect that something is happening in the night, which is another reason, holy smokers. I wonder if that's why I'm being driven. I bet a lot of people are starting to have that. And this book right here actually, again, was one that was came into me through another viewer, a viewer whom just kind of went away. I don't know where he went off to. Um, but it's like he dropped that in my lap and then disappeared. It was so funny. Um, but it sort of explains that. So I'm wondering if you are having some night travels or you suspect that you are. Because I think that you are. Well, I think that we all do. I I don't remember mine too much. But I do. I get the feeling of the void, and also when I look at that, I'm seeing how you must be, or someone around you is not laying groundwork, but like dropping seeds everywhere. And I feel like we do this no matter who or what we are, right? We carry around our traumas as well as our having resolved those traumas in our energetic field. And I mean, that's the only way I can describe that because, again, I'll point to what happened yesterday while Lisa and I were out grocery shopping. These beings passed through our fields and felt impelled to speak. And in one case, she said, I don't know why I'm telling you my life story, because we carry this around in our fields. And so I feel as though this is indicative, if you can see here, this is actually one of those dandelions, and it's sort of blowing off the seeds, the little seedlings from it, right? And I feel like there's something that you are doing, I feel, whether you're aware of it or not. Okay, you said yes, I think that's true. Are you aware of your night travels? Do you bring back your night travels, or you just feel that you do? Because I know that we all do. We all do stuff. Sometimes we're going to classes. Sometimes we're visiting relatives. Sometimes we're, just attending, I don't know, a play or whatever. I really do feel like that's what's happening. There are so many realms and um, so much to do and places that we can go and stuff that I'm just convinced that that's what we do. Okay, sky, wind, star. And I really gotta, as soon as I get a chance, I gotta read this book because this is a new book. I do not understand their numbering of the it's like they numbered the cards and they numbered the page that the card can be found on, and they're not the same. And that's just so interesting to me. I'm wondering if there's a reason behind it. Now, the other thing that, because this is sky, right? Sky, wind, star. So very clearly, there's a mental element in here, right? And the fact that this crow is not at the top step, but he's not at the bottom step either. Um, if this is indeed representative of what I call the dark feminine, or and that's not, just because it's got the word dark before it doesn't mean it's a bad thing, by the way. Um, this energy may be calling to you to work with you. It's not something that would, no energies force themselves on beings. I realize that some folks have had experiences that they would term scary or whatever, but and that's maybe a conversation for another time. But I feel as though you may be being called, or an energy is offering to work with you in some sort of collaborative fashion. And that's why it's not right up there at the top and it's not right there at the bottom. So I don't know if that means anything at all to you. Okay, so profound and amazing blessings are headed your way, my love. Are you ready to receive? Have you gotten all your ducks in a row so that you can be grounded and can be resourced and you can be prepared to show up like a lit leader of legacy for all, to prepare, no, let's see, for legacy for all these wonderful opportunities that you are magnetizing to yourself? Now is the time to prepare for success, because when it hits, it's going to hit big and it's going to hit fast. Oh my God. I'm telling you, Daryl, this is not just for you, my love. I feel this with all of me, for me as well. And I've always said that there's something in the reading for you and me. I'm excited. I'm sorry. This is a time to attend to details and to tie up loose ends, to till the soil and to set the stage so that you are prepared to make the most of all the incredible blessings that are knocking at your door. Oh, Daryl. Oh, and you said, I feel that too. I wonder if you were speaking on what? The dark feminine energy offering to work with you, or could you be a little more? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to, if you don't feel to. I'm going to count the steps here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Interestingly enough, there are 12 steps. Okay. And I just started doing some research on. Apparently, one of my favorite astrologers is doing something about finding the 12 universal spiritual laws in your natal chart. And I thought, ooh, that really drew my interest. So I don't know if that has anything to do with this or not. So, oh, the dreaming. Ah, okay. Well, you are more than welcome to join us if you would like for the dream space. I would like to gather some beings who, and a lot of people get weirded out when you're going to record a conversation and put it out there on the internets. And I get it. If it's not your gig, I get it. Now, in Vanessa's case, I'm not I'm not wanting to do that to put out on the internet, and I'm not saying that I have to record everything. No, but I want to record Dream Space to share with everyone, because let me just say, the more of us who are willing to share our experiences with the expansion and evolution of consciousness, it paves the energetic highway for others. Can you imagine not having done any internal work on your consciousness, and then all of a sudden, really weird things are going on, and you don't know what to make of it. I don't know. I just, for me, that was what was happening for me. And that's why I started Conscious Conversation Central in the first damn place. Thanks very little to the ones that took me off. That was back during the pandemic. And, well, you're just not allowed to question anything, apparently. So, anyway, I hope that was helpful for you, Daryl. And the offer goes out to you and anyone else too that would like to have a conversation. Conscious conversation is what I crave. And um, I guess that's it for now. I did find those decks, and I am going to be putting together. I want to try to figure out how to do it because I don't like charging for things, but I also know that in order to find a house large enough to accommodate the community that I mean, if we're going to move, I would like for us all to be comfortable and not try to squeeze into a tent somewhere because, uh, so I am open to doing card readings, BQH sessions. I don't charge for anything. I will ask in order to help me move if you can contribute what you can afford. Please don't ever put yourself out for anything. Whatever that case may be. The only thing is, if you're really interested in a beyond quantum healing session, we would need to have a little Zoom conversation first so that I could explain to you how it works. I generally ask folks to allow at least 4 hours for us to be together to do that because you're talking about trying to get someone into a state where they are relaxed and in like a sort of like a light trance. So that usually takes a little time. And it also takes a little preparation for the being who's having it done. I advocate that, if you're going to have a BQH session done, have that be the only focus for the day so that you're not worrying about anything else and everything can, then afterwards you have plenty of time for self care and you can allow the information to integrate. So, for anybody that would be interested in doing that to help grandma move, I would just adore a chance to hang out with you. And again, that's at consciousconversationcentral@gmail.com. Look for the soul's journey to come out, to start coming out. Hopefully, tomorrow I'm going to get right back to it after I prepare a meal here. And it's not really a very large book, and I really think it could be very helpful. Until we meet again, I really loved spending this time with you guys. This was really good for me on so many levels. Thank you so much for allowing me in your fields, Vanessa and Daryl. And I think that's the only two folks that wanted a card. Yep. And above the arc, if you're still here, I really treasured interacting with you. I hope that you will come back. Those of you who missed this live, um, if you'll subscribe and hit that notification bell, you will hopefully be made aware of when I upload and or go live. Let's see, what else did I want to say? Oh, yes, go to newlightstreaming.love. And let me just say, who knew you could have a website that was .love? I I was shocked when I went to go find our domain name, and I said, well, let's just try it because I've seen where people are using .tv. There's a .org and a .net and a .biz, and I thought, could we use .love? Dun, dun, dun. The answer is yes. So I love that. That's given a whole new frequency to for me of what we're trying to do here. And that is to just, spread the love, the unconditional love that we actually all are. So I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that presents itself to you. It is just a matter of perspective. And when things come at us so very quickly that we can't even grab a hold of them, it would be easy to say, well, you can't always do that, Sheila. But there's always more than one way to see a thing, to approach something. And sometimes for me, it just might mean I got to slow down for a second and check myself. And it really has made a huge difference in my life and the way I do that. BW, if he or she is still here. Oh, did they? Oh my God, and I didn't write it down. BW, are you still here? Yes, I see that. Oh, I am so sorry. I did not. Oh, I hope they didn't leave. I bet they did. BW, if you're still here, I'll wait a few moments. And BW, if you're not here, but you come back later, I'd be happy to do a standalone thing with you if you had to leave or something. That's happened before where I didn't get to somebody, but we can always meet outside of the live. Aw, no, I'm so sorry. Daryl, thank you for that. This is honestly, this is where a second pair of eyes doing this kind of thing would be very helpful. Um, so I'll have to figure out how to make that happen. Um, Somebody said one time, well, Sheila, what you need is a producer. Okay. I suppose if that's supposed to happen, it'll present, but I don't even know what that means, or anything else like that. BW probably left. I know there's a delay, so I don't want to just up and go. Above the arc, did you leave too? I guess so. I'm really very grateful for today. You guys were so awesome today. I really feel like I don't know, I feel very settled in my vessel where when I first came on. Now, yes, the holy basil, like I said, it really soothes my central nervous system, which is what I call the communication superhighway for me. Um, but I also think that it was because I was able to come here and connect with you guys. In the human design way of finding out who we are, like you have your astrology chart, the gene keys. There's a whole bunch of different ways that I've been learning uh, that this is, and oh my gosh, it's so smack on. It's been very fun to learn this. I am what's called a projector, and so it's very interesting to me how this worked today, and I'm not sure exactly how what's related to that, or even why that came up. Well, BW didn't answer, so I am so so sorry. My apologies to you, BW. I hope you didn't go away mad. I hope you will come back, and I am so sorry that I didn't see that. And I now remember that you did say that. I neglected to write it down at the time. So I guess that is it. Um, be well, my friends, until we meet again, which, unless I something happens, it'll be tomorrow morning for the morning mojo chat. And hopefully we'll get a dream space together real soon. Mwah. Till we meet again, my friends, be well.